Let's do some sentiment analysis using natural language processing. So let's get started. This is the first introductory video in this series. So we'll start with something very basic use case. We'll create some words and then try to get their sentiment, whether it means whether the words are conveying a positive meaning or a negative meaning or a neutral meaning. So we'll be using these two libraries. Let's create some words. So I'm going to use some words like these. So let's print it on the screen. And we can see some words in our vector. Now let's try to get the sentiment score for each word, whether it conveys a positive meaning, negative meaning, or a neutral meaning. So let's print it on the screen and see what happens. So here we have some scores, 0.7 for love, and for destroy it's minus 0.5. For weather it's neutral, so it's 0. So you can see that it has positive or the negative signs. So essentially this is the basis of sentiment analysis. So let's combine it together into a data frame. So I'm using rbind to combine our words and the scores. So you can see it's in a horizontal direction. I want it to get a vertical table or a long table, so I'm just using transpose. You can see the T up there. See, this is what we wanted. So let's try to see this data in a visual way. So I'm using ggplot to create a simple histogram for the sentiment count. So for each sentiment count, let's see how many counts we get. So you can see that negative values are more, and there's a lot of neutral values and some positive values. We can also take the mean of the complete vector to see whether the whole of the data is positive or negative in terms of the sentiment. So I'm just converting the score into numeric and then getting the mean value. You can see the mean value is minus 0.57. So we got the general idea what sentiment analysis is. So let's try to do some real life example. And in this setting, I'm going to use some simple sentences. Let's think of that as feedback or comments from a website or some other comments. So I've compiled this list. You can see in some of these cases, the meanings are kind of double. So you can say, I will love to destroy it, or it could be much better. So let's see how the system handles these kind of sentences. So now is the time to get the scores for these sentences. So as we did previously, we would use the get sentiment and create another vector called sentiment scores. As we did previously, we will get a data frame by using rbind and then combine sentence and sentiment scores together, and then doing a transpose and then converting this into a data frame. So we have a data frame called final. So if you print it or see it on the screen, this is how it's going to look like. You can see that the scores have been given. And I realized that sometimes the scores are not that accurate. You can see that in the second line, the sentiment should have been something negative, but it's actually thinking this as a positive sentiment. And in the third one, it's accurate because weather is terrible, so it's a negative thing. In some cases, for example, I wish I had enough. It's thinking of this as a positive sentiment, and so on. So it's not that accurate yet, but let's start developing this in our future videos. And let's do a mean first, and you can see that overall this is conveying a negative. Overall, the whole data set is conveying a negative feedback. In the next video, we will talk more about some more complicated cases. I hope you enjoyed and liked this video. Thank you very much for watching it, and I'll see you in the next one.